3 years ago, this was compacted dirt and weeds. And I already had the makings of a food forest without even knowing it. A mulberry tree, black raspberries, weeds I never planted that the chickens loved. It all started with a stubborn dream to stop relying on the feed store to feed my flock, to become more resilient and self-sufficient right here on our half acre using the food that was already growing on this land. So I built a tunnel system. Nothing fancy, T-posts, chicken wire, whatever spare fencing I had. Just enough to create a safe space for the chickens to forage along the edges of the yard without destroying the garden. The first year I planted annuals in there, like crimson clover, wheat, and oats. And they ate everything in weeks. Last year I rebuilt it with perennials and locked them out so the plants could get established. Today, I'm finally letting them back in. And I have to say, I didn't expect it to look like this. The tunnel looks amazing right now. Like genuinely better than I expected. It's lush, it's green, and this year it's not full of just annuals in there. It's full of perennials. Things that came back on their own. Things that are going to keep coming back whether I plant them again or not. That's what I was always trying to get to, and I think we're finally there. The biggest surprise was the lamb's quarter. They were the first green thing coming up this spring. Turns out they're cold hardy. I didn't know that. And even with how much destruction the birds did last year, they still dropped so many seeds that this spring they sprouted throughout the entire tunnel like a carpet of green. I never planted lamb's quarter in here, not once. It just showed up and decided to stay. Honestly, my only concern right now is that there's so much of it that I'm worried my amaranth and sorghum seeds won't have the space to grow. We'll see. The comfrey has rooted and is already growing up through the fencing. This is exactly what I wanted, because now that it's established here, it should stay here forever. This variety will go to seed and spread, and I'm actually counting on the chickens to keep that in check by eating the leaves down. That's the system working the way it's supposed to. The Jerusalem artichokes are coming up too. Not quite above the fencing yet, but it's getting there. So these two perennials, the comfrey and the sunchokes, have established exactly as I hoped. And I know how resilient the sunchokes are because I had chickens and mobile tractors grazing over a patch of them last year. And they ate them completely to the ground. And this year they all came back. That's what you want in a chicken food forest. Plants that can take a beating and come back anyway. The black raspberries are about to produce too. Last year, most of the fruit was eaten by the birds because the vines were behind the tunnel at their level. This year, a lot of the vines have grown above the tunnel, so now we can actually reach the fruit too. So we'll be eating a lot of the raspberries this year, and the mulberry trees above are going to be dropping fruit later this spring as well. I also planted willows along the outside of the chicken tunnel this year. The idea is that they'll grow tall enough that the chickens can reach the leaves through the fencing without being able to destroy the whole plant. Oh, yeah. We'll see if that works. Now, the amaranth and sorghum, I'm not seeing much of either yet. I'm hoping the wild birds didn't get in here and eat the seeds because I do see small birds sneaking through the fencing sometimes. That's my best guess for why they're slow. The amaranth is growing, but slowly. I really wanted to wait until it grew above the fencing before letting the chickens back in, but they've waited long enough. So, here we go. I'm letting the birds out. Before I do, I want to show you something I set up this year that I'm really happy with. Someone commented on one of my previous food forest videos suggesting I block off sections of the tunnel so I can control where they graze. And I did exactly that. I installed an area of sticks across the halfway point of the tunnel. Last year they destroyed sections so quickly because they had access to everything at once. This year I want to control the growth and regrowth better. So right now they can only get to the first half of the tunnel. Once I'm ready, I'll move the sticks and let them into the next section. And while they're grazing one area, the other area gets some time to recover. It's a great system. I can keep planting new things or let areas grow larger before they can get access to it. And it's way more control than I had before.
So this area definitely looks like a food forest, right? This looks so green compared to all the garden rows here, which has just been covered with tarps so that the weeds can't come in. I actually need the chickens here now more than ever because everything that's growing in these tunnels is actually coming out into my growing areas. So I need the chickens to start doing their job.
And as soon as they went out there, you could just tell. They aren't on top of each other in the static run like they've been for the last few months. They have things to do now, things to find, things to scratch through and investigate. They seem genuinely happy out here. And I know the tick population around the edges of the property is about to get hammered because chickens love hunting in these spots where the wooded area meets grassy fields. That's exactly where ticks like to hang out. So the bugs are going to get eaten, the plants are going to get eaten, and the soil is going to get worked. And speaking of bugs, if you really want to supercharge how well your chickens are doing health-wise and egg laying, you really want to give them a good snack every once in a while and reward them for being such good birds and supporting your family with their eggs. And I like to do that with Grubterra's black soldier fly larvae. They're a great treat. They're really healthy, full of calcium and lots of other benefits and nutrition. And this is a great way to keep your birds happy. And sometimes I'll even coax them out into parts of the chicken tunnel where I want them to browse and graze and sprinkle them on the ground for them to eat and explore new areas that I want them to explore. So if you would like to get some black soldier fly larva treats for your own birds, you can use my code TinyFarm20 and get 20% off your purchase in Grubterra's store. And I will leave a link down in the details of this video so you can click that and pick up a bag for yourself.
This one's made it out. I'm all the way to the black raspberries. Got a little excited.
Watching the chickens back in the tunnel is just exciting. I don't know how else to say it. It took years to develop a system that actually works here. And seeing them in it, really in it, makes all of that feel worth it. The first section of the tunnel is more shaded because of what grows above it and the structures in front of it. So the growth in there wasn't as thick as further back. The chickens ate through everything green pretty quickly in that section and then got straight to work digging for bugs and worms. I'm not sure how much of this got on camera, but I was watching one worm after the other getting pulled right out of the soil. They were finding them constantly. And talking about the soil, I've shown before how compact and thick with clay this whole area was after that first year. Watching them dig so deep and so easily now shows just how much planting cover crops over the last few years has done for this ground. They couldn't break through that top layer not too long ago. It was just clay. Today it's rich, dark soil full of life. After they ate through the grasses and weeds, they went straight for the grubs. That's what they really want. That's what they're always looking for, and I love watching them find it. I could tell they were restless these past few months since I locked them out. They knew what was on the other side of that fence, and now they're back in, and they still have large sections they haven't even discovered yet. This year I'm going to be more intentional about blocking them out in sections to allow for regrowth. I haven't done that enough in the past, and it's why certain areas got stripped down so fast. The stick divider system is already helping with that, and I want to stay disciplined about it going forward. I'm still keeping an eye on the sorghum over the next few weeks. I'd really love to see that grow up through the fencing and drop seeds and grain below for them to eat. That's one I'm still hoping for. And I have more crops I can add if I want to vary what they're eating in here. More options than I've ever had going into a season. Now it's year 3 for this tunnel, and I have comfrey coming up through the fencing. The sunchokes are getting established. Lamb's quarter carpeting the whole floor without me doing a single thing. Black raspberries are vining above. Mulberries are dropping later on this summer. And the willows are growing on the outside of the tunnel. It's not finished. It's never really finished. But it's finally starting to look like what I always imagined it could be. A system that feeds itself, that comes back on its own, that needs less from me every single year. And that's the whole point. If you're building something like this, don't give up after year 1. The perennials take time, but once they root, they stay. And that changes everything.